13 years ago when I first met Hala, she and her brother and her mother were refugees from Syria that had made it into Beirut. They had become Christians and they just had a tremendous heart for God and for God's people. On January 20th, to be able to perform her wedding ceremony and to see her marry Abe, knowing that their heart is they want to go back and serve in the ministry in the Middle East. I couldn't be prouder of her if she were my own physical daughter. You cannot be in the Middle East and get to know the disciples over there without developing a personal connection. And to realize that you're in a region of the world that has probably the single greatest economic impact on the world as a whole, and to see how every day those people live with the kind of adversities that they face, and the joy and the love in their hearts in the middle of the most horrific conditions. People that are in cities that are being bombed, and yet they are consumed with their love for God. There's something that does to you. They become more than just names on a page. They become more than just statistics. They're your family. And it moves your heart to want to be able to do anything you can to see the gospel spread in the most difficult, adverse mission field in the world. And it moves you to a place where there's nothing you wouldn't do to be able to help them. This past August, we had our first conference in Cairo, Egypt in 12 years. And the reason that we had that conference was because we wanted to help to instill faith in the people in Egypt, that in spite of all the violence that they see from ISIS, from all the other radical Islamic groups, that we were not going to let that determine what we do as a Christian group. The month before we had the conference, the radical Islamists had grabbed a school bus full of Christians on their way to a conference and had taken them off to the side of the road and executed all of them. So there was discussions that we had as to whether or not we should go ahead. But the disciples in Egypt, the disciples throughout the Middle East, felt like the significance of being able to have the conference in Cairo was worth the risks that we would be facing. And to see their faith, to see the joy, to see the relationships there, more than anything, what they want from us is not our money. They want those relationships, to know that they're our family, and that the things that they face, they do not face alone, that they will never have to worry about whether or not we are with them, heart, mind, and soul. One of the things that I experienced when we were at the conference in Cairo was, number one, an incredible surge of faith, that after 12 years of not being able to meet there, we had brothers and sisters from Beirut, Lebanon, from Amman, Jordan, from South Sudan, that had all come together in Cairo, Egypt, at a time when there was a lot of violence going on, to worship God.
Mike, you love to drive in Egypt.
I do.
Mike is the most crazy driver in America.
I'm very considerate.
Mike would drive phenomenal in Egypt.
Yes.
Because it would be normal.
Like us.
Yeah, just like you.
Where do you think I learned to drive? I learned to drive in Bangkok, in Mexico City, and Cairo. Hi, we're on our way to the airport in Cairo, Egypt, after having just spent a week here and attending the Egyptian conference. We're on our way to Amman, Jordan, and in Amman, we're going to be discussing several things, one of which is trying to set up a campus exchange program for next year for the Campus Challenge, where some of the students from the United States can come to Amman and help to build and expand the campus ministries in Amman, Jordan. Arriving in Amman to be greeted by Libby at the airport and to be able to ride in the car with Sammy Sakakini and with his young son Kareem just reminded me of the importance of our families being connected and involved in this.
You're a bug. Did you notice that?
We're at the airport, Harry and I.
Amman is one of my favorite places. It's got such a rich biblical history. It's home to one of my favorite places in the world, Mount Nebo, where God took Moses to allow him to see the promised land, but also to communicate to him that he would not be the one who would lead God's people into the promised land. But that was okay, because it would be people that Moses had raised up and trained who would see his vision come to fruition. One of the things I love about worshiping with the church in Amman is the unbelievable spirit of family that you get. That family extends beyond your physical family to your entire church family. And I love being able to have my friends and my family from the United States come over and immediately be absorbed into that. Because in every way, you truly do become family. And I cannot wait to be able to go back there in a few weeks and to reconnect with those brothers and sisters, my sons and daughters, my friends, my family in the Lord, and to be able to communicate to them that we're not done yet, that our mission is still going to be accomplished, and that we are going to do this together. One of my goals this summer was that I desperately want to connect those churches that financially support the Middle East to the people in the Middle East, to put names and faces and relationships out there. And so I wanted to have Ken and Brandon, I wanted to have Robert, I wanted to have Steve, I wanted to have people from the different churches that support to be able to come and experience firsthand not only the joy and the exuberance that these people have in their love for God, but to be able to get a little bit of a taste of their day-to-day life, so that when it comes time to consider sacrificing personally, financially, it's not about money. It's about relationships. And more than anything, we want to connect the brothers and sisters in the United States that are supporting the churches in the Middle East with those people in the Middle East that are living in dreadful situations, and have them be connected to the brothers and sisters in the U.S. as well. As we continue to move forward, I want to thank everyone who has participated and sacrificed and connected emotionally and spiritually to the brothers and sisters in the Middle East. And we're not done yet. There's so much more that we together can do. And I want to encourage you to include your family in that, to be willing to take a trip, to come to the Middle East, to be able to meet your brothers and sisters so that it can become something more personal for you. The future can be so much more powerful as we collectively join arm in arm, hand in hand, and heart to see God's vision come to fulfillment.